Hello, and thank you for watching the presentation to our web-based learning system for Intermediate Spanish 202 with the topic of health and well-being. Esther Wayne Wise and I at Series Muzquiz chose this content area after discussing what kind of issues we had seen our students experience at the college level. One of the things I mentioned to Esther was that I had seen students struggle on the final semester evaluations, which included written exams, presentations, and student instructor interviews. Based on observations that I made during previous semesters that I taught Spanish 202, I noticed how students became easily confused when completing the last assessments. With the unit of health and well-being, we introduce a grammar point that is not easy to grasp because it's so different from English. With this web-based learning system, we are hoping to enhance the students' contact to authentic materials in Spanish that allow them to develop not only their writing but also their speaking, reading, and listening skills in a contextualized online environment and through the completion of a web quest. This web quest requires the students to think beyond a list of vocabulary, tenses, and grammar structures, or even mechanical exercises from a workbook. To think about how they can use their knowledge of Spanish to solve real life problems, such as how to lead a healthy life or how to help somebody else lead a healthy life. It is also our hope that with a web-based learning system, students will become more motivated to pursue a Spanish minor or even a Spanish major. When we started this project, we were thinking to use both Google Sites and Zuno. We decided to use Zuno for the web quest, but once we realized that we weren't able to embed it to the Google site, we decided to create this page and include the web quest through different steps. To show you more about our website, on the home page you can see that at the beginning everything is in English, but all this is supposed to be in Spanish. And at the beginning we are introducing the purpose of this web-based learning system for Spanish 202 Unit 4. Then we go ahead and state the learning objectives, and then we mention directions on how to navigate this page. There is also a calendar that we're using to post assignments due deadlines, and also I have a link to my email address. On the intro page I have two major tasks. The first one is to have the students introduce themselves using VoiceThread, and here are the instructions on how to do that. And the VoiceThread, we think is a good task because this is the first unit in the semester, so students are just getting to know each other. So this is a good time for them to get to know each other. Next, we have a pre-test that they have to complete prior to starting the web quest. And this is just to get an idea as to where they are as far as unit vocabulary, reading comprehension, and sentence structure. Next, on the announcements page, I've posted one announcement to welcome students, but this would be the place the students would go for changes to the website or other announcements. On the web quest tab, you can see an overview page and 6 different steps to complete the web quest. The overview page has a lot of different information on what learning activities the students will be completing, and there is also a video on how to complete the web quest, which is entirely in English. Throughout the pages, you will see that at times there are some English translations. This will be deleted once the web-based learning system is implemented. I just put this for the web designers so that they could understand what the page was about. Also, students will have to meet in the collaborative learning forum for discussions, and later in the web quest they will have to meet using Google Hangouts to discuss with a partner how to create a health and wellness plan. Throughout the pages there are also these gadgets, and these are audios that students can listen while reading the page content. So basically, students will read material that will introduce them to the topic of health. So the way I begin with the web quest is that I start talking about a friend that I have who has some health issues, and I believe I use a simple language so as to not overwhelm students. Also, I use questions and exclamations to engage them, and I give examples. Next, you can see the steps to complete this step 1. So here students have to take 2 tests from this list entirely in Spanish. It could be an anxiety test, health test, depression, attitude, etc. And once they do that, they will have to comment on the collaborative learning forum on the topic Mi estado de salud físico, which is where they share what their current state of physical health is, and then they reply to some of their classmates' comments. I also give them the link to visit this website in case they want to look up words. I give them this one specifically because I don't want them to go to translators. So earlier in the overview, students are discouraged from using translators. Going back to the overview, on the overview page at the bottom, there are 3 documents. One is the rubric to the web quest that students have to read prior to starting the web quest. And then there are 2 versions of the web quest, one in English and one in Spanish. However, those versions are through Zoonal with the Zoonal format. Later on, students will have to create a goal using the SMART method of how to create a goal, and I provided them with an example, and once they're done, they will submit it via email. This third part of the web quest, students have to learn more about how to lead a healthy life. So they have these different sites, 2 videos and 3 articles that they will have to read in order to learn more about how to lead a healthy life. And also they will have to create a glossary including new vocabulary that they learn from these materials, and they will have to submit it at the end with the web quest. On step 4, students will have to write a questionnaire that they will use to ask questions to their classmates to find out about their current health habits. On step 5, students will be completing this questionnaire live using Google Hangouts. And to do that, I have provided them with instructions in English, and also I gave them a video that they can watch to know how to use Google Hangouts and how to record their meeting. Finally, students have to create the actual plan for their classmate while using the subjunctive mood. And to review that, I provided this website, not the website, it's a video that goes over recommendations on how to lead a healthy life with the 8 healthy habits. They are also giving an article on how to write a wellness plan. And finally, they have to submit everything to me via email. On the collaborative tab, the students will find instructions on how to join a Google group, or for specifically for this class, and how to post on the two different topics that we have here. I was only able to get one student to write a short comment, but she was able to do it without a problem. And next, on the feedback tab, I will mainly give the students feedback on the bottom under comments. I will post a weekly comment on how students are doing overall. But each week, on each Friday of each week for 4 weeks, the students will have to track their progress by completing this form and submit it to me. On the support page, the students will find information on computer literacy. There's another video on how to do the Zuna web quest. They have direct links to my email and to Esther's email. And they're also encouraged to visit the accessibility office at the University of Akron in case that they need accommodations. And finally, on the Enriched Learning tab, I encourage students to continue visiting websites and materials online in Spanish, to join Spanish-speaking communities. And I give them one example, that is to join a Facebook community, which is this one right here. And since it's the same format as English Facebook, they should be able to follow and hopefully start a conversation with some of the members or the members. Next, there is an online reading. It's a website with different articles that they can read to learn in Spanish. And finally, link to completing more web quests on Zuno. And this is basically it about our website. Our experience working with a web-based learning system was very unique because we were able not only to create a website in a very methodical way, but also to receive feedback from students and colleagues that saw our product from different perspectives than we did. One of the comments that one of the user reviews gave us was that the web-based learning system was much easier to navigate than the materials that they use in their current classes, and also that the learning activities, the web quest was actually more meaningful to do than those from their textbook. On the second round of the student reviews, some of the students said that they still prefer to learn in a face-to-face class, because it's very important for foreign language. But after seeing all of these, the structure of our web-based learning system, they cannot deny how an online environment can provide to them. So it's just a matter of organizing it right, and the students are able to see the value in it. So overall, it was a great experience.